Welcome back to another exciting episode of Transform Yourself, the podcast that's all about empowering you to shed those stubborn pounds and embrace your best selves. We are your hosts, Kacy and Tyler, and we use the 4 M's of fitness, mind shift, meal shift, micro habits, and muscle building to create attainable and sustainable weight loss. We've lost a collective 130 pounds. We've kept it off for 3 years. So whether you're a fitness enthusiast, a beginner, maybe you're just curious about making positive changes, Transform Yourself is your go-to source of inspiration, information, and a good dose of motivation. And today, we're going to tackle something that has the power to either make or break your transformation journey.
What's that?
Your mind. Your mind. It's all about mind shift today. So that first M of form fit, mind shift. And I cannot stress enough how I am certain after years of being a weight loss coach that mind shift will absolutely make or break a transformation.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because this is your sport.
Yes.
And if you, or, maybe the person who's listening sport, and if you get in your head and, you can mess yourself up. Why is this like anything else? Like Olympics or any other kind of big sporting event.
Right.
Like you have to have your head straight.
That's true. In fact, didn't we watch a documentary about Simone Biles?
Yes. Yeah.
Of which our child calls her Cinnamon Biles. She gets the word cinnamon and Simone mixed up and calls her Cinnamon Biles. So now I almost said Cinnamon Biles.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to talk about the 4 sneaky thoughts that sabotage your weight loss. And I bet some of these thoughts are going to resonate with you, and you're going to be in your car or on your walk or...
This should resonate every single question with every single person.
Yeah, we've all had them, but these are thoughts that we have to really pay attention to. So you might be thinking, wait a minute, really? My thoughts are going to completely change my weight loss? Yes, they are. They have the power to influence your action, and especially when it comes to weight loss. And they can be the key. Your thoughts can be the key to unlocking success, or they can be what keeps you feeling stuck. Mm-hmm. So let's dive in.
Dive in.
All right. Thought number 1, I am missing out if I don't fill in the blank. Mm-hmm. Now let me fill in that blank for you of things that I know because women have said it to me or had the thought with me. I'm missing out if I don't go out drinking with the girls. I'm missing out if I don't have wine with the ladies. I'm missing out if I don't get to have pizza party with the office.
Yeah.
I'm missing out if I don't, and then you fill in the blank with whatever it is. And whether that's turning down a glass of wine with your girlfriends or skipping donuts at an office party, you feel like you're missing out. And here's the twist. What you're really missing out on is feeling the absolute best version of yourself. That's what you're missing out on.
Yeah.
I want you to think about this for a second. Do you want to miss out on the feeling of walking into a room like you are the queen of the room, owning it, feeling strong, feeling confident, feeling at the top of your game? Because let's be honest, pizza and cocktails, they are great for a few minutes. But that deep, lasting confidence that you get from sticking to your goals, that feeling, that's what you're missing out on. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's something it's so true. I mean, there have been moments in my life where, I felt like a complete badass while I sat there and watched other people drink. And I felt so on top of my game and so confident in myself and who I am. And that's the feeling. That's the feeling that's worth it.
So I remember when I quit boozing.
Yes.
That was exactly, that was one of the big issues I dealt with, was immediately going from, feeling like party guy to like you're missing out.
Yeah, you
And-
kind of identified as the party guy.
Yeah, I like to be a party guy. I like being party boy.
You
It
are
was
a fun party guy. You're still fun.
Well, I convinced myself. Well, and I mean, I didn't just convince myself, but I had practiced being fun party guy when you were drinking.
Yes.
So I had no skill. I had no practice in being I had no practice or skill being just a normal person at a party with an alcohol, much less being somewhat fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember that was a tough one to get around. But I mean, in the end, it's a head game. You're telling yourself that. You're telling yourself, oh, I can't have fun if I don't have 17
Or I won't
beers.
be fun.
I won't be fun if I don't.
Right.
If I don't take this shot of whiskey, I'm not going to have any friends.
Correct.
That's basically what you tell yourself.
Right.
It's like, if I don't get blackout drunk, my career is over. Like at a company event, like that's and I'm being
Right.
facetious. I'm exaggerating, but that's kind of like how you feel.
Right. So here's the deal. Your brain reward system is driven by dopamine. And when you indulge in instant gratification, like eating junk food or, having a glass of wine, you're getting a hit of dopamine, but that dopamine is going to fade really fast. Delaying gratification and sticking to your goals triggers longer lasting satisfaction because you're working towards something that's meaningful. So discipline, it's choosing between what you want now and what you want most.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what do I want most?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want that glass of wine and then the headache tomorrow? Or do I want to hit my goal and feel confident and be able to go shopping? That's another thing, ladies. I mean, there were years of my life where I hated shopping. I mean, it's still not my favorite. I'm not one of those women who loves to go shopping, but
Yeah.
I hated it because I knew nothing that I ever tried on was going to look good on me, or so I didn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
I was not going to be happy with it. Exactly. Whereas now it's a much nicer experience because I feel more confident, and that is absolutely worth turning down alcohol at almost every event I've gone to this year.
Mm-hmm. Hell, you turned down food in this house today.
Did I?
Well, I mean,
What did I turn down? I don't even remember.
Well, it was just, I cooked burgers for dinner.
You did.
And then you're like, what kind of cheese is this?
Oh, yeah. You put full fat cheese on it and high calorie cheese. I go for the low calorie cheese.
It's a slice of cheddar cheese.
But, that cheese did not align with my goal, Tyler.
Well,
so,
but what I'm saying is,
right.
You made the decision.
I did.
Like
and I appreciate you for bringing me a low calorie piece of cheese. I thank you.
So I did it.
Thank you so much. And thank you for cooking the burgers with 96% lean ground beef, even though I know you like the higher fat version.
Wow.
So I appreciate that. Moving on. Thought number 2. I will start again tomorrow. Or let's fill this in again. I will start again on Monday. Or let me fill it in again. I'll start again on the 1st of the next month. And then for the last one, you could, I'll start again in January.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same thought. They're all the same thing.
It's all the exact same excuse.
It is absolutely an excuse. And yeah, it's the unofficial slogan of yo-yo dieters, period. I might have been the poster child for yo-yo dieter in my earlier years. And this mindset is giving yourself permission to delay your transformation. And it's a huge consistency killer. Because here's the reality. Tomorrow is really just a day away. It's a few hours away, right? So the idea that you'll somehow be more motivated or you're going to be more disciplined tomorrow or next Monday is what you're telling yourself. Yeah. Again, these are stories you're telling yourself. And if you keep postponing, you're never going to get anywhere. Transformation is now. The book, Chasing Cupcakes, I always recommend it. But in that, Elizabeth Benton says, over and over again, transformation is now. Transformation is not something that happens tomorrow. It is not something that happens next week. It is not something that happens next month or next year. It is right now. It is in the very next decision you make. And every single choice that you make adds up to the transformation that you're going to make. Now, are you going to make the transformation that is going to be a yo-yo dieter type transformation? In other words, you're going to lose weight and then gain weight and lose weight and gain weight. That's not the transformation that most women come to me for. They come to me for consistent weight loss. So if that is the case, the thought that you're having, I'll start again tomorrow, I'll start again Monday, that is a thought that is going to sabotage you. Human behavior is driven by habits, and consistency creates new habits. And the more you reinforce positive behaviors, the more automatic they become. So starting later just means that you're reinforcing those unhelpful patterns, those unhelpful habits. So yeah, waiting till Monday is like waiting for the perfect time to do laundry, right? Never comes.
I know. Here's the thing. It's never going to stop.
It never does.
Just like,
you can't
just
wait
like
for
this.
It's like waiting for the perfect time to have kids when you're a
Exactly
married
the same.
couple and you're trying to have kids.
It's like, oh, well, we just want to wait till we get this. And it's like, listen,
there's never a perfect
I've
time.
told
Just
people
get
that
started.
You just got to start having kids, and it doesn't matter. It's going to suck at the beginning. And you know what? Weight loss at the beginning, it sucks.
It does too.
It's not fun.
I mean, yeah, it's not the best, but it's okay because it becomes a part of who you are, and it becomes easier over time.
Like if you went to college to become a lawyer, I bet that sucked a lot. I bet there was a lot of nights that sucked. I bet if you're the world's greatest neurosurgeon, there were probably more nights and more days that sucked leading up to becoming,
Yeah, I guess so.
So this is like everything else. Like if it's worth doing, it's going to be hard.
'Tis true.
Yes.
Well said. Number 3.
That's why I said
it. Number 3. The thought that is sabotaging your fat loss.
I love this one. This is one of my my favorites just because it's so freaking identifiable for people.
It is. I've already messed up, so I might as well fill in the blank.
I already had a piece of pizza, so I might as well have 9 more.
Yeah, and since I had those 9 pieces of pizza, I'm going to go ahead and have some cheesecake too, and ice cream on top of that, and some fresh whipped cream on top of that. So yeah, it's you're sabotaging yourself. This is called all or nothing thinking. We have an entire podcast on it. Scroll through our old podcast. We have one called all or nothing thinking. Go listen to that one if you really resonated with that thought. Just because you've had one cookie does not mean that you should have pizza on top of the cookie and then Chinese takeout after that, and then a side of fries. It's a slippery slope. It's one of the most destructive mindsets when it comes to weight loss.
Of course it is, because you could totally undo all of your progress. You could undo so much work.
Right. Just by having that thought.
You could have one day where it just doesn't go well, and are you going to throw it all away?
Right. Because the reality is that one cookie is not going to derail your entire progress. Right. And it was the one cookie that made you have that thought. So don't allow the thought to the all or nothing thinking to turn that cookie into pizza and fries. Let yourself instead, think to yourself, it's okay. I am not perfect, but I know that I can get right back on track with my very next choice, period. That's it. Yeah. You are only one meal away from getting right back on track. You are only one choice away from getting right back on track. Your very
everything.
next decision, period.
Hey, you want to quit drinking too? Cool. And you fell off the wagon this weekend? Cool. Monday, tomorrow, the next of time you have a chance.
You said Monday.
I know. I said that. But I'm not saying like literally just wait till Monday. I'm just saying that you could start like the next time. You could be good. Like you could just start over. Like it doesn't ruin it. You can just start fresh.
Right. And I do want to point out, he did say you can be good. That just because he said you can be good does not mean that I don't
mean, I'm not.
I want to point out the fact that eating a cookie does not make you bad. Eating a piece of pizza does not make you bad.
Yes.
Cookies and pizza are not bad.
And
they are only foods.
It's only food, has no emotional or has no moral component.
Correct.
Which I agree. And I do try to not do that anymore. Even like outside of this, like, even like talking at work. Try not to put emotions and food like together. But
Correct.
that is real. Even as a person,
I think because I do that as a job, it's really easy for me. I try to always not say that something was good or you did good. I try not to, even when I'm talking to my one-on-one clients, it's hard do my best to make sure that when I'm looking at their food log, I'm like, oh, you had a good weekend. Like, it's not that it was good or bad. It was, hey, what the choices you made.
Did you stick to the plan?
Aligned with your goal. That is what it looks like.
And that's what you mean. I know that's what you mean by good or bad. But
yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you do have that thought, if you're the person who has a donut in the morning and then that blows your entire day, I want you to think about it like this. If you get a flat tire, are you going to get out of your car and be like, well, I have one flat, I might as well slash the other 3 tires. Car's already messed up, right?
Might as well leave it here on the highway.
Might as well just slash the other tires, leave it on the highway. I mean, that, of course not. We don't have that thought, right? We don't make it worse. We just fix the one tire and move on.
Yeah.
So that's it. Just move on. Just know that, look, we aren't perfect. We make choices that don't necessarily align. I make choices that don't align with my goal. Yesterday, I had several cookies and chips and queso, and it was delicious, and I loved it.
I had a slice of cake. I've been thinking about that cake today. It was.
I had several bites of your cake. It was good. I don't know who made that cake, but they live in Fulshire, Texas, and that was delicious.
In their neighborhood, is what they said. Just some lady who
that cake
who
was
baking.
so amazing.
It was great. The fact that I would say I'm thinking about a cake today. That is unlike me.
Yeah, that is very unlike you. You don't even eat. You don't like cake that much.
Because most cake is trash.
It's true. So, all or nothing thinking. It is known by scientists as cognitive distortion, and I love that. I love that it is named cognitive distortion because that is exactly what it is. It's a pattern of thought that exaggerates your setbacks, and it can spiral into self-sabotage. And so breaking this habit involves recognizing that small setbacks are just a part of the process. They don't define you. They don't define your overall success. Again, I want you to aim for progress, not perfection. All right, so we're on to thought number 4 that might sabotage you. Here we are. Here's some examples of this thought. Nothing ever works for me. Every diet I have ever done fails. I will never lose this weight. And if I do, I'll just gain it right back.
Is this just being a negative Nelly?
Here's the deal. These are the thoughts. These are the actual statements that I hear from people when I get on a Zoom call with a client for the very first time. And they're trying to decide if they want to join my one-on-one program. And I ask them all about the same question, which is one of the questions I will ask you if you get on a Zoom with me is, tell me about your goal, tell me what's been working well for you, and tell me what's not working well for you. Mm-hmm. And typically the women will, tell me, paint a really detailed picture of their past. And if I were to categorize or sum it all up for most of the women, so many women are, you name the diet, I've tried it, I've done them all, none of them work for me, or this one did work for me, but I gained it all back. But that's true for most. I've been dieting since I was a teenager. The amount of women who tell me they've been dieting since they were 12 makes me sad. It makes me so sad because we have 2 girls, and I try to really watch how I talk about food in front of the girls and how we talk about food in a factual way and talk about protein. And I think yesterday, didn't we have a conversation with
about what? We had
a conversation with our youngest about, she asked us in the car, she said something about if calories were bad, and
I don't remember what she said.
And I think I answered her and told her, I said, no, absolutely not. Calories are great.
I thought she said carbs.
No, I don't think she said carbs.
Okay.
I think it was calories.
It might have been. I don't recall.
And I explained how they were fantastic and they're there for energy and they're there for your body processes, and how just like anything else in life, you can overdo something, but you can also underdo something. And so it's about getting it just right so that, just like anything else. I mean, you watch too much TV, that's not great for you, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I kind of tried to make it to where it was not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, it's a thing.
Too much. Yeah,
it's a thing that provides energy.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember
and we don't, and we've got to get it, we've got to kind of in moderation, just with like everything else.
Well, that's what we ended up telling her, is that it's like watching TV, or it's like anything else.
Right.
Too much can be a bad thing, but moderation is key. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Okay, back to the thoughts that we were talking about. Number 4, sorry, we left field on that one, was the nothing ever works for me. Every diet fails. I will never lose this weight. And if I do, I'll gain it all back. Here's the truth. If you believe that every diet fails you, then the next one will too, period. And that is not just motivational talk. It is science. Your brain loves patterns. And if your brain is comfortable with failure, you subconsciously act in ways that reinforce failure. You will reinforce that pattern. The key is changing the pattern. That starts with your thoughts. So if your brain is stuck in a pattern of failure, if you're stuck in thinking this is what happens every time I try a diet, it's kind of like binge watching a really bad sitcom on repeat. It's time to get up and change the channel. Completely change the channel. So in other words, change the channel in your brain and have constructive thoughts. But you have to practice these thoughts. So neuroplasticity, it is the brain's ability to change and adapt. And your brain is neuroplastic. You can literally rewire your thinking. And you do this by practicing constructive thoughts. And I know what you're thinking already. You're like, wait, but what constructive thought am I supposed to have? Okay, so you might have a thought of, I am determined and I can't wait to see progress. I'm so excited. Talk to yourself as if it's already happening. I am so excited to see the progress that I'm going to get to next week. Like I can't wait, because I am going to fit into those jeans that I have over there in the back of my closet. Oh man, I'm going to look so good in those, and I am going to feel so confident in them. And I can't wait to see that happen. And then have those thoughts and repeat them to yourself regularly. Get a journal out and write about them, and do this over time and practice it over time. This is not a thought you can have once and then boom, it's like a magic fairy dust.
This is like you have to rewire your brain,
which means you have to. It's going to feel weird to say those things to yourself, especially because I know that deep down in that brain, your brain is trying hard to not believe it. But you have to have those constructive thoughts, think those constructive thoughts, say them out loud to yourself. It's okay if your husband looks at you funny. Mine looks at me funny all the time.
Just tell him to shut up.
And over time, you will create new thoughts, new pathways. And then guess what? Because you now have new thoughts, you will have new behaviors. And because you have new behaviors, you will have new results. And it is true that your thoughts lead to your feelings, which lead to your behaviors or actions, and those lead to your results, period.
Is there a time you've ever practiced this personally?
100%.
What's one thing
I practiced this personally when I was in my own fat loss phase. I think it was the difference. One of the things that I did, and so many of you have probably heard this before, is the getting on the scale was a trigger for me. And I would get on the scale and have thoughts of, I am a failure, right? You get on the scale, you'd be in a week-long 7-day diet. You've lost some weight. And then day 7 or 8, you step on the scale, you gain 2 pounds, right? And I immediately thought, I'm a failure. It's not working. My before self would completely quit. I would give up. Therefore I would be inconsistent, because my thought would be, well, I already messed up. I already gained 2 pounds this morning, so I might as well, right? That was number 3. That was sabotaging thought number 3. Or I might even have sabotaging thought number 2. Well, it's a Wednesday. I might as well wait till Monday. So look, I've already gained 2 pounds. Screw this diet. I'm going to start again next Monday on a new diet. So do you see how all these thoughts are pretty much sabotaging everything? Whereas instead, all I had to do was have the thought, I am not perfect. It's okay. But I am determined, because I am a determined human being. And because I'm so determined, I'm going to see progress. I'm so determined that these 2 pounds that I see on that scale, they don't define me. They don't make me a bad person. It just means that I'm a human being. It just means that
weight loss is not linear.
It's okay. I'm going to stick to my habits, because I'm going to be more determined and more stubborn than ever before. And I'm going to see progress. I know I am. I can't wait to see progress. And some of those actual words were written on paper and taped to my scale. You saw them.
Yes.
They were there for almost an entire year.
When you talk about this, you literally had, I think it was like a sheet of like note paper. It wasn't like a notebook. It was like a little steno pad kind of thing.
And it was in red
Sharpie, I think.
Sharpie.
And it was literally just taped to the scale.
It was taped to the scale.
And it was all like curled up around the edges.
Yeah, because it stayed there for an entire year. But you know what? I read it to myself. So that's the thing. If you want to have new constructive thoughts, come up with some thoughts that are constructive, write them down on a piece of paper, and then stick it somewhere where you know you're going to read them every single day. Because if you read them to yourself every single day, I promise you, over a month or 2 of time, you're going to believe those thoughts, because you've read them and you've had them daily, every single morning. It was like my morning affirmation to myself. And that, I feel like that changed who I was. It changed the idea that it changed the thought that I was going to fail. I knew I wasn't going to fail, because I told myself I'm not going to fail.
Mm-hmm. You knew the outcome.
I knew the outcome before it happened. It's kind of like it's kind of like all those Olympic stories you hear about. It's like
you visualize the victory.
They visualize the victory. Absolutely.
That's what I was saying at the very beginning. It's the same thing.
So let's recap those 4 thoughts that are holding you back from your weight loss goals. Number 1, I'm missing out. But are you really?
You're not. That's the answer. You're not missing out.
Number 2, I'll start tomorrow. But why not start now? Number 3, I've already messed up, so, well, one mistake doesn't mean that you still can't win the game. And number 4, nothing ever works for me. I've always been a failure. Well, maybe it's time to rewire that brain of yours with some constructive thoughts. So I'm going to encourage you, listener, to decide, what are my new constructive thoughts? What are those going to be? And then I want you to find some paper in your house somewhere. Get a piece of paper off the side of your fridge. That's where I keep my little grocery list paper. Write it on that and put it somewhere you're going to see it every single day. Because at the end of the day, weight loss is more than just food and exercise. It's about mindset. And that's why mind shift is the first M of Form Fit. The thoughts that you have every single day are shaping your reality. And if you can shift those thoughts, you can transform not just your body, but your entire life. And we have to remember, it's not about perfection. It is about progress. Every single step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to the very best version of yourself. So let's ditch those sabotaging thoughts, get out of your own way, and transform ourselves one thought at a time. Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe to Transform Yourself for more practical, empowering weight loss advice. If you're looking for e-courses, month-long challenges, if you're looking for low-calorie cookbooks, if you want to calculate your calorie deficit or your protein goal, go to thecaloriedeficitqueen.com. Until next time, keep shining, keep smiling, and keep transforming yourself.
Adios.